Do something. So I called the Colon Cancer Alliance back in Washington, D.C. and said, I want to volunteer somehow here in Denver. What can I do? So they contacted some local volunteers and said, here's another volunteer for you. Put her to work. So I said, okay. So that was 4 years ago, but I've been involved, and our family has been involved with the Undy Run Walk, which is June 27th at City Park. So I went from being just a mom to being mom on a mission. So that is my title, M period, O period, M period, mom on a mission. And recently I added that I am too old to not be bold. So I have no problem asking sponsors for money. And if they tell me no, I said, okay, may I call you next year? So they pretty much know that they're not going to lose me. I'm like a bulldog. But anyway, I've gotten involved with this run, which has been very healthy for me. And this year, my husband said, you know what, I really want to get out of the Kiwanis golf tournament that I've been doing for 15 years. So I'll help you with the undies. So
nice.
It's been a labor of love for both of us. So I think Greg would be darn proud of what we've been able to accomplish over the last few years. This event is meant to raise awareness and funds for colorectal cancer. It is a cancer no one wants to talk about because of the body part that is involved. And that's the way it was with breast cancer. And look what has happened with Susan G. Komen. They are raising millions and millions of dollars with the color pink. Our color is blue, and we hope to continue every year to raise awareness. In March, which is Colon Cancer Awareness Month, you're going to see more buildings lit blue. We had the city and county building lit blue. This year we had the clock tower lit blue, and the ladder icon in the tech center lit blue. So it's happening. It's just we're at a slower pace. We don't have the manpower and the millions and millions of dollars that Susan G. Komen has. But anyway, our Undy is a fun event. It's family friendly. So there might be some outlandish costumes and fun team names, but most clients' body parts are covered. When you register, you don't get a t-shirt or a hat, you get a pair of boxers. And if people have not come in costume, they just slip on their boxers. These are this year's versions. So every year they're different. And so when you register, you get a pair of boxers, just put them on, and you run or walk around City Park. It's a 5K run or 5K walk or a 1 mile walk around the lake. So it's a lot of fun. This year, I've added a challenge. I had a friend make a giant pair of boxers that involved 10 yards of fabric. And we're going to have a team challenge.
Starting today.
Well, I want to get a picture today with everybody in these boxers. Where's the middle, honey?
Where the button is.
Yeah, but where is it? All right, so these are our giant pair of boxers. We're going to have a team challenge. How many people can fit in these boxers? I'm guessing...
All of us.
All of us.
I'm guessing 15 to 20 people a leg. Because here is the leg. Right here. Okay? So it's anatomically correct with the button right here and whatever. So we're going to have teams pile into these the day of the Undy at City Park, get a photo of them, and we're going to enter our challenges into the Guinness Book of World Records. So,
ooh, nice.
We don't think there's a category yet.
The other thing you're going to see a week before the Undy is a giant inflatable roll of toilet paper that we had last year with the message, help wipe out colon cancer. We have a truck and a flatbed, and we are going to drive this inflatable roll of toilet paper around the city of Denver to advertise our event. So again, it's June 27th, City Park. You can run or walk. You can register at the event, or you can go online, undyrunwalk.org to register. Our team, our family team's name is Shake a Leg for Greg. You can form your own team. We have a team called G Games because the last few years the G Games has donated $1,000 to the cause. So that is really awesome. And for those of you who don't know how this started, Greg's friends, the very first year he died in 2009, died in February the 23rd. That June, Chris and Jeff and Dow and Paul, who is not here, said we want to raise some money to get a park bench for Greg's honor. And that cost $2,000. So they did that. So if you come out of the Museum of Nature and Science, the back end of it, facing the Rocky Mountains, go down the steps where that round spray park is. Greg's bench is at the bottom of the steps to the right. And it says, in celebration of Greg Altamari. So Chris runs there and takes a little rest there.
Wax about this big, costs $2,000.
Yeah.
The bench was free.
Thanks to Mayor.
But I'm telling you, the view from that bench is like a postcard because you have the lake, the pavilion, the Denver skyline with the gold dome, and the Rocky Mountains. It is a postcard. It's just beautiful. So I don't know how many people have sat on that bench to take a rest, but that makes me happy. It also makes me happy that we have 4 little Gregorys running around in this world. We have James Gregory. Where are you, James? We have Tobin Gregory. We have our grandson Wiley Gregory, who can't be here today. Yay, Wiley! And Anita, will you hold up your son Matt Gregory from Pennsylvania? So 4 little Gregorys running around, and my hope is as they get older they'll have a chance to meet and understand why they were given the middle name of Greg. So, anything else?
I have a few words.
Tell me also about the Warrior Tour and the logo.
Well, we'll get there.
Okay.
No second. You want to hold it? Thanks for keeping it short, Weez.
You know me, I can't do it. I can't do it.
Well, the G in G Games stands for Greg. And I don't know why it was, but sometime over the last 2 months I was looking through a memory book, a scrapbook that Louise put together that has had some amazing emails and anecdotes and stories in it from Greg's life, and they involve so many of you. Being among you reminds us of how much Greg loved his friends. Just loved you guys. In the weeks before he died, he took great care to go through his possessions and decide who was going to get what. Paul Casanova, he wanted him to have his snowboard. Dow got tools. Jeff got the big yellow taxi painting.
Oh yeah, those are sweet.
Chris got his golf clubs, and on it went with a list of people.
I did not get the tools.
Who were
Thank God.
Would have been a waste.
So he wanted to have things that were important to him. And not only that, he made a list of people that he wanted to give financial bequests to. And he had a pretty substantial life insurance estate. For a single man to have bought as much life insurance as Greg did was a marvel to me. I've been in that business for many years. I can't explain why he did, but the beauty of it is he wanted to give it away. And so he made a list of more than 20 people who he wanted to give money to, some of which Weez and I never met. And we had the amazing joy. How many of you are old enough to remember the TV show The Millionaire?
Probably none of them.
Way
too young.
Kendra almost raised her hand. No.
There's a lot of wealthy.
Oh, you wanted to marry one.
That was a different. Obviously, I didn't qualify.
It's a weekly story. It was a weekly story about the agent of a very wealthy man who anonymously gave money away to people. And the 30-minute show was about their life and how the money changed it and enriched it. Weez and I got a peek into what that was like, to sit with 20 different people and give them a check from Greg that expressed to them his love for them. And it was a very special time for us. One of our more creative responses came from Anthony and Sue and Anita. I don't know if you'll remember this, but Anthony was Greg's oldest cousin, very successful attorney in Philadelphia. And he received a bequest from Greg, and Anthony wrote a letter on behalf of his oldest son, Nico. So the letter was actually written in 2009, but it's dated 2017. And it reads like this: Dear Uncle Greg, you'll be proud to know that despite all concerns to the contrary, I successfully graduated from college. At the time, Nico was 12 years old. I wanted to write this short little note to tell you how appreciative I am of your role in helping me pay for that college education. My mom and dad tell me that I owe a debt of gratitude to you. I understand that you left my dad a sum of money when you passed away, suggesting that he spend it any way that was most pleasing to him. Giving me and my brothers that money was what my dad said was the most pleasing thing he could think of. The letter goes on to speculate that Nico is going to medical school in the fall, which he's not doing. But we just thought that was very creative. The most exhaustive plan that Greg had in one of these bequests was for Delaney. And this is what Greg wrote. Delaney's money, I'd like to split accordingly. And I'm not going to mention the sums. A whole bunch of money for college education. A bunch of money for her college graduation to use as a down payment on a home. And nothing else. And he goes on to say, and if she does not graduate, Chris and Brooke inherit the money.
That's good incentive, huh?
Yeah, right.
And then he's got a sum of money for her 16th birthday towards a car down payment. And another bunch of money to use as a reserve account towards purchases such as a computer, senior class spring trip,
Jeez.
sports equipment, braces. And the most amazing one, he says, and the prom dress that you just can't do without. That's what Greg wrote. We created a web page on a place called Caringbridge, which is a place for loved ones and friends of people who have a disease to communicate with them on the internet. And we created this for Greg as a vehicle to reach out to people and for them to leave messages for him. Well, you all know Greg. He was very private, very independent. He never thought he was worthy of any praise or accolades. And so when we first set up this website, he refused to go and look at it. And then gradually we would print one off and we would leave it in his bedroom. And before you know it, we caught him peeking at the website. And then the first thing he got up in the morning, that's what he would do. So that was the evolution. And he got some amazing messages from people, and it was a very healing time for him, and it really lifted his spirits. Something very similar happened. I attend a men's Bible study group, a group of about 30 guys, and we meet on Wednesday mornings, and Greg was living with us towards the end. And I would come back from my men's group, and I would tell Greg, 30 guys you never met prayed for you today. And at first he didn't really want to hear that. Then he and I had this amazing weekend that many of you have heard about, where he really came to the bottom of himself, his strength, and he had trusted doctors and technology and medicine for everything up until that point, and he finally gave it all up and invited God into his life, and it changed him. It gave him the peace that you all experienced in his last days. Well, the next Wednesday that I had come home from my men's group meeting, he couldn't wait to ask me how did the guys react when you told them that. I also remember how important it was for Greg that he personally meet with many of you to explain to you, Dow, I know, and Jeff, and Paul, and Chris, why he was deciding to stop treatment. It was a very hard decision. He wanted you guys to know that he was not a quitter, that he was giving in without giving up, and he wanted to tell that to you guys personally, those that were close enough to him. I'll finish this on a happier note. Greg never lost his sense of humor through these heavy times. And here are a couple examples. Early one morning, as was my custom, I would be stretching on the floor and doing exercises and doing some push-ups. And he walked into the room one time whistling the theme from Rocky. Just to let me know how bizarre that was. Sonny and where's Hop? He was the commissioner of the fantasy football league, and so Chris and I were managers in the fantasy league, and he had a team, and a bunch of other guys had a team. Sonny was in our league at that time, and so we're watching the pregame on a Sunday morning, and he says, "I'm playing Spanky today," and it's totally a trap game. I'm going, it's fantasy. I know you don't. He spent a lot of time in our bedroom suite because it was a big bed and there was a TV in there. And I went in one time and I said, Greg, I need to take a shower. You're certainly welcome to stay here. And I said, but don't be surprised if in the next 20 minutes or so, a tall, old, bald, naked man goes through that door. And with a complete deadpan, he said, I actually prefer old, tall, bald, naked men. The last one I'll mention, I'm sorry Jim and Linda Lee aren't here, but we were going out to their house for dinner one night. And as we left, we said to Greg, we probably won't be late. And he said, well, if I'm not home, I'll either be at the gym or the gun club.
And that was a line from Mr. Mom.
Mr. Mom, we're told.
Yeah.
So it's an amazing thing to us that you all keep coming back to this every year. You can't imagine how special it is to us to know that his life was so meaningful for you. We thank you for remaining in our lives, for your support of charity that we're raising money for, the Colon Cancer Alliance. There are some silent auction items that we hope somebody will bid for so that we can make a big donation. Our cabin is a silent auction item. It's right here. Dow has got this amazing surveillance system that he's auctioning off.
The people have already been to our cabin, I might add.
That's right. This
They
time
all
you
know
have
they
to
can go
pay.
there for free. Fool's errand.
Matt Rabel has generously been
You know where the hiding key is.
donating his condo in Winter's Park. So you'll have to talk to him about that. There's a donation box over here. We created a team on the Undie site called the G Games team, and we would love for any of you who wish to donate to that. Just go on that site, register, donate, whatever you can do, and it will help all of us in the fight against colon cancer, particularly in those of you who are under age 50, which is where the incidence for this disease is going up. And so it's really, really important because in our lifetime we want to see this disease eradicated from the face of the earth. So keep drinking, keep eating. When your pockets get loose, put some money in the box. And thank you all for coming.
How about a photo op?
Nibble on the onions.
How do you get checked? You